I want to share something deeply personal, a film that has moved me in ways I'm still uncovering. That movie is Her. This video is more than a review, it's a love letter to a piece of art that has profoundly shaped my understanding of love, loneliness, and the invisible threads that connect us all in this digital age. Her is a film that, for me, transcends its medium, becoming a mirror reflecting our deepest yearnings for connection and meaning. As we walk through this story together, I'll open up about why this film resonates so deeply with me, exploring the emotions it stirs and the questions it raises about our intertwined lives with technology. Be aware that we'll dive into the heart of the film, touching on its pivotal moments and themes, so spoilers will be a part of that journey. But my hope is that this exploration can be a bridge for us, connecting our experiences, our thoughts, and maybe even our hearts through the power of cinema. So if you're ready, let's embark on this journey with Her. If you're unfamiliar with Her, here's a quick synopsis. A sensitive man, heartbroken after his marriage ends, finds solace and unexpected love with an advanced operating system, Samantha. To me, this story challenges our perceptions of connection and love, inviting us to explore our own emotional landscapes alongside Theodore's journey. This movie is rated R for very good reasons, and I say that because I'm not really going to mention much about those particular scenes. To fully explain why I love this movie so much, let me tell you when I first saw it and how. I was in college, and back in 2013, I was studying film, and that year I had decided to go see every movie that was nominated for an Academy Award. Now, I would normally go with my friends or family to the movies because I always love sharing an experience with people, and I had never gone by myself to the movies. I was in a dark time in my life, and my family had just gone through a loss, and I was in a dark place myself. So I decided to go to the movies by myself and see as many movies in a row that I could get away with and get my escape from this cruel world that I was a part of at that time. I got to the theater, it was nice and sunny outside, bought my tickets, to which I still remember the box office worker's face going, "You're gonna be here for a while." And yes, I got some snacks and a drink and sat down in the theater by myself. The lights went down, and that's where the movie magic began. It all clicked in that first shot that this was going to be something completely different and my first step into feeling a movie rather than just watching a movie. It shaped my approach to film and storytelling, revealing the power of cinema to mirror and influence our deepest emotions. Now you might be thinking, like my wife, "Dude, I've heard about this movie and it's about a lonely guy who falls in love with Siri." While you are correct to some degree, it's much more than that. This movie itself helped me discover that it's okay to feel emotions and to cry every once in a while, and that life is about more than just technology around us. And the most important thing in this world are the connections and relationships we have with others. On top of all of that, it has some of the best color theory and cinematography I've ever seen at that point in my life. One of the best character studies I've ever seen, the movie that made me feel the most, the technology was pretty cool, the acting in Her is so good, and last but not least, the music. So let's explore each of those topics a bit deeper together. Her has some of my favorite frames of all time. I genuinely feel in this movie, and to experience that on a large screen in a dark room is the absolute best way to experience this movie. I've watched it on my phone over the years, and actually twice in the last couple of weeks. I know, I have a problem. And nothing beats seeing it on that big theater screen like the first time.
First time?
Yeah, you?
No, not my first time.
Hoyt van Hoytema, I'm sure I'm butchering that name, so I do apologize, who you might know from Interstellar, Dunkirk, Tenet, Oppenheimer, and several other incredible films. He's the cinematographer on this film, and I didn't connect that together until I saw Interstellar a year later and saw his name in the credits and thought, that name looks familiar. And sure enough, IMDb confirmed, yeah Ben, it's the same person. Let's look at some of my favorite shots from this movie. The reason this is one of my favorite frames of the whole movie is because it's very early on in the movie, and this is how I was feeling at the time. Very alone and closed off from the world around me. What do you feel? If you had never seen this movie before and I showed you this frame, what would you think? What would you feel? I'd venture to guess that you feel like I did, or at least think about what the character is feeling. Let's look at the colors. Theo is wearing a red jacket, making him stand out from the crowd, which in my head should contradict what I would have done, which is everything around Theo is alive and colorful and the character would be in dark colors and desaturated tones. But no, Theo here wants love and connection. To me, this shot is a great lesson in color theory, but also composition in general. Having the character forward in the frame, but having him isolated and low in the frame, making it seem like he's not important and disconnected from the larger world around him. Let's look at another one of my favorite frames. Now, this is much later on in the movie than the other shot, but we're seeing this moment where Theo is laying on the beach with Samantha, the operating system, and it just feels warm and safe to me. These two are just on the beach together, and that shallow depth of field here is really separating them from the background and the world around them. This moment of peace in the movie and the music, which we'll talk about later, just gives the film some time to breathe and let you feel the characters. The story of the film centers around Theodore and his struggles to be open and honest in a relationship and realize the importance of connections and love. At the start of the film, Theodore is portrayed as a lonely, introverted individual struggling with the finalization of his divorce from his childhood sweetheart, Catherine. This aspect of his life introduces his initial want, to overcome his loneliness and to find connection. His job at beautifulhandwrittenletters.com, where he composes heartfelt letters for others, underscores a deep understanding and longing for genuine human connection. Yet he finds himself isolated. As I mentioned earlier, this movie is not what you think it is, and it is something much more under the surface. At its core, it's a conventional love story, but told in a unique way where the characters that are in love don't occupy the same physical space. Now, initially, I was all about action-packed films, think Jurassic Park vibes, and a romantic movie was the last thing on my list in 2013. Yet Her changed that for me. Theodore, amidst a painful divorce from his childhood sweetheart, Catherine, mirrored my own struggles with vulnerability and connection at the time. Watching his story unfold, I found pieces of myself in Theo. It's no wonder Spike Jonze took home the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay. This film is a profound study of love, loss, and navigating emotions. Speaking of emotions, I talked a little bit about this already, but the emotions that come out of this movie are some of the most authentic and real emotions that I've experienced while watching a film. Digging into the emotions of Her really hits different. It's like the film cracks open the full spectrum of what it feels like to be human, loneliness, love, the whole 9 yards. Watching Theodore try to figure out his feelings for Samantha made me see just how complex and messy our search for connection can be. It's not just about feeling sad over a breakup or excited about a new relationship. It's about Theodore's whole journey of understanding his heart and what it means to really love someone. If you're open to its unconventional take on romance, you'll find the emotional depth as real and as moving as I did. In 2013, I didn't cry. It just wasn't something I thought I needed to do. And growing up, it was frowned upon for men to cry. But something about all of the things that were currently happening in my life, experiencing loss, embarrassment, going through life in college, trying to figure out who I am, all got me to tears as I'm watching this film unfold, and it felt good. And then there's the awkwardness of the film, like the scenes with the dead cat, and that's all I'm going to say for those who haven't seen it. The lunch scene with Theodore and Catherine signing their divorce papers is another moment of intense discomfort and empathy. This film makes you feel deeply, and that's a testament to its power. What I love about Her is how it doesn't hold back on showing all the raw, honest emotions. It's like a mirror to our own lives, showing us that it's okay to have all these messy, conflicting feelings. In a world where we're all trying to figure out how to connect in meaningful ways, especially with technology changing the game, Her reminds us that those deep, emotional connections are what really matter. It nudges us to ponder our own interactions with technology. How does it shape our relationships? And are we seeking genuine connections in our digital world? It's a testament to how cinematic tools can be harnessed not to just tell a story, but to invoke deep, lasting feelings. This synergy between storytelling and technical artistry is partly what makes Her such a powerful exploration of human condition. Her takes you through all these emotions and leaves you thinking long after it's over. It's about so much more than just a guy and his computer. It's a look into our hearts and the crazy, beautiful mess of trying to connect with another soul. The technology in Her fascinated me, especially against the backdrop of 2013's tech landscape. We didn't have ChatGPT or any other advanced AIs then, and they weren't accessible even if they were out, making the film's vision for a utopian Los Angeles filled with intuitive tech even more intriguing. The initial scenes of Theodore interacting with his OS capture a longing for a seamless integration of technology in our lives, something beyond the screens that dominate our attention today. To me, I'm looking at living a more intentional lifestyle with technology and as little screen time as possible. For those interested in exploring this balance further, I recommend you go check out a good friend of mine, Spencer Pugh's channel on technology and intentional living. I'll drop a link in the description. I think we were very close to seeing a version of the assistant that Theo uses at the beginning of the film. I don't think we were very close to a Samantha-level operating system, but it's definitely possible in the future. With devices like the AI Pen and the Rabbit R1 coming down the pipeline, I think we will see bigger tech companies, Apple, come out with AI devices soon. The way we interact currently with AI is very text-based, and in the film it seems not only are most actions controlled by voice on their phones, in a few shots, keyboards are no longer needed with their desktop devices. That also blows my mind. It's mostly swiping and voice control even on the desktop. It's a very subtle thing, but impactful, especially considering how often keyboards are used today. At this moment, I don't see us moving away from that anytime soon, but hey, I've been wrong before. The main source of communication in this film seems to be email. We don't see very many phone calls other than when Samantha rings Theodore. And we don't see any texting, which I find really refreshing. I also realize how impractical it is to expect the world to one day not have texting. I can't imagine having to respond to some personal text via voice in public. But at the same time, when I was younger, I couldn't imagine texting someone while walking. The use of technology seems so seamless and believable because of the brilliant acting from the cast. The performances in this film are absolutely breathtaking and serve to fully bring the story to life. Joaquin Phoenix, an actor known for his intense and immersive performances, completely disappears into the role of Theodore Twombly. He delivers an incredibly nuanced performance, masterfully portraying a wide range of emotions that make you feel every single emotion that Theodore is going through, from the deepest despair to the highest joy. It's a testament to his skill as an actor that he manages to make Theodore's emotional journey so gripping and relatable. And as I said earlier, I was able to relate to Theodore's character quickly because of how relatable and how real his character seemed. Sitting in my theater seat, watching this man experience so many emotions and processing events just felt authentic, and I could see myself in some of those situations as well. Joaquin brought me to tears on several occasions during the film, but let's not forget Scarlett Johansson, who provides the voice for the AI character Samantha. She does an outstanding job despite only being a voice. She manages to convey a wide range of emotions from curiosity and joy to sadness and longing. Her performance is so captivating that you quickly forget that Samantha is an AI, and you start to see her as a fully realized character with thoughts, feelings, and desires of her own. The chemistry between Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson is palpable, and it serves to make the relationship between Theodore and Samantha feel utterly real and believable. Even at the first interaction, they instantly develop a friendly relationship and very much an assistant-user experience. Each exchange between them carries an emotional weight that pulls you further and further into their story, making you deeply invested in their relationship. One interesting fact that I didn't know until very recently is that Scarlett Johansson was not the original voice of Samantha. They had already recorded all the audio from another actress, and in the edit, Spike Jonze didn't think things were flowing correctly and asked the actress if she would mind if she was replaced. And she didn't mind, and that's how Scarlett was brought on. What an amazing performance for being brought in during the post-production process. Last but certainly not least, the music. The music in Her is another element that contributes greatly to the film's emotional resonance. You've been hearing pieces as this video is going on. Composed by Arcade Fire, the score is a beautiful blend of electronic and acoustic sounds that perfectly complements the music's futuristic yet intimate setting. One piece of music that always stuck out to me was the song Samantha composed on the beach, which if you look on the soundtrack is simply called Song on the Beach. The music feels deeply personal, matching the emotional journey of Theodore and Samantha. From the hopeful, optimistic tunes that play during their early interactions to the melodic melodies that accompany their struggles, the soundtrack truly enhances the storytelling. I think one thing that really sets the soundtrack apart from other films is in the song Photograph, where Samantha composes a piece of music to represent a photograph of her and Theodore. You can hear the quick notes on the higher side of the piano, and then you hear some slower, more low notes. Those represent both of the characters. The low notes are Theodore, and the high, sporadic notes are Samantha. I just thought that was something really genius that they did. I've had the soundtrack playing in the background as I thought about this entire video essay idea, and it really helped remind me of all the experiences with this film that I've had, and how it really changed me as a person after leaving the theater, and how it continues to inspire me today. As we reach the end of this deep dive through Her, it's clear that Spike Jonze has crafted a film that does more than just tell a story. It invites us into a deep reflection on the nature of love, connection, and the evolving relationship between humans and technology. For me, Her was more than a movie. It was a mirror reflecting my own emotions and experiences, a guide through the complexities of relationship in the digital age. It reminded me that in our pursuit of connection, it's those that are already around us that we should invest in, and in a weird way shows the dangers of connecting in a digital age as we move through the next decade. The raw emotions, the nuanced performances, and the immersive music all contribute to a cinematic experience that stays with you long after the credits roll. This film, with its blend of futuristic technology and seamless emotional themes, has not only changed the way that I view cinema, but also how I view the world around me. I hope this deep dive into Her has offered you new insights into the film or inspired you to watch it with fresh eyes. Whether you're a longtime fan or a newcomer to this story, I'd love to hear your thoughts. How did Her resonate with you? Share your reflections in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to share and subscribe for more deep dives into movies that make us feel, think, and dream. Your support means the world to me, and it fuels the creation of more content like this. Let me know if you like this style of video and deep dive down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. God bless.
Why don't you make up the words to this one?
Okay.
Here it comes.
I'm lying on the moon, my dear, I'll be there soon. It's a quiet and starry place, times where swallowed up in space, we're here a million miles away. There's things I wish I knew. There's no thing I'd keep from you. It's a dark and shiny place, but with you, my dear, I'm safe and we're a million miles